Nick Dacos, right foot snap, he's kicked the goal. Dacos has kicked the goal. 1 minute remaining in the game. The Dacos box erupts.
Welcome to Little Birdie TV. I'm your host Scoot, and we're joined back with MG down in Melbourne. He's had a 2-week vacation, it feels like. He's been off to live golf. He's down at the Bull. He's destroyed his liver, but he's back with us to talk all things AFL. How are you, MG?
Very good, Scooty. Survived. Trying to set myself a tough campaign for 8 or 9 days. And, took on 2 different sets of touring parties of lads. And I'll tell you what, they really stretched the limits. Live golf. I've already put you guys on the list for next year. That was one of the better events I've been to in Australia, to tell you the truth. That was top shelf live. Whether you're for or against it or something, Adelaide put on a tremendous event. So I haven't been to gather round yet, but live was right up there, Scooty. So I expect the Bird to be having a bus over next year.
Not sure about a bus, but we'll definitely drop in for that one. It'd be a fair bus from Orange. It'd be a bigger bus from the Gold Coast. I'd be on the first flight home, I think, and so would Toprope. We'd be in a body bag after the bus trip. But it's you can see why, MG, that it's been a bit of a hot spot for bucks parties, for lads' footy trips, for lads' weekend, golfing weekend. It's something for everyone in Adelaide, isn't there?
I was actually surprised, Scooty, on how many, what a cross-section of crowd it was as well. It was a much higher female count than I thought, and families as well. There was a lot of kids running around. They had a lot of fan interaction or engagement, because they had a 36-hole golf course, so they were able to shut down certain holes to have a lot of engagement. So, it was they definitely put it on for everyone. That probably explains a large reason why the crowds were so big.
Yeah, it's a massive effort, and it looked amazing. And the Saffers choking on the playoff holes was just the cherry on top. Big news in AFL this week. It's the only thing under more pressure than your liver, MG, is Luke Beveridge. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So whiff, it's a coach sacking. But Toprope, you've made headlines, your own sort of headlines. I don't know where to start. Not sure what I can say. There's no gag orders at Little Birdie TV. There's no censorship here. But crikey, you've been rubbing people up the wrong way. And a little On the Couch article gets a little tap on the shoulder. How are you?
Also, I'm up and about. Scooty. If I was going to have one bet in my life, I went that Live will be more exciting than Gather Round. There's a hot tip in there, so I think you put the right round that way. On the couch, you won't see this week. Been pulled down. Won't mention any names, but first legal letter received in 20 years to pull it down. So there you go. Some people not happy with the critiquing.
Well, I thought it was one of your best, so it's it's a real shock to me. But I don't think I'll mention it right now. But we might have a new segment this week just in honour of the said article. And it being retracted. But sad news, bit of a passing. We've had Pappen, the Pap. He's gone down with another ankle injury. What's he made of glass, this bloke?
Poor Pappy. Look, it seemed like a fairly innocuous kind of injury. He was just making a tackle in the end goal and kind of went over his ankle, just a small fracture. But he's out for 6 weeks, which is not the end of the world. But the concern was the repaired ankle. They did some serious damage last year. So he's not made of glass, but he's certainly made of a lot of plates and a lot of screws, from what I can tell. So poor fella. And the shame is Brian Pappenhausen has never played a State of Origin, and this will be another year that he'll almost certainly won't even think. If he's out 6 weeks now, that's probably you might get back in time for the eve of game 2. Just leading into game 3. That's not going to be enough for him to force his way into the result. I wouldn't have thought that. Another year without Pappen, Sky Blue.
And Broncos have got some injury troubles. Rendigity, Adam Reynolds in trouble.
And your man Rendigity, serious injury, biceps injury. He went down straight away last week. Interesting to see how they go without him. He's kind of been there, the glue that brings it all together. So, the young Jock Madden, he's not available this week. Should be back from injury next week. Who's a somewhat competent replacement, but he's no Rendigity. And the lack of Adam Reynolds we saw earlier in the year didn't go that well for the Broncos. So I don't think I'll have an impact when they play these longer sides, I think your Reece Walters and your Red Fremantles still run wild, but when they get up against the better sides, could be strife for the Broncos. We're still not sure when Queensland get back. He may not be back.
Yeah, it's a big shake-up in the premiership market, 360 out to 550 at Top Sport. We're not going to talk about the Warriors. Not sure who put that on the run sheet, but they've lost 3 straight since I've backed them for the premiership. So well done, Scooty. And that's exactly why I'm not the AFL or NRL expert on this show. Dragons were good again. The love affair continues for you. Got them. You're playing them like a fiddle at the moment, Toprope. So that's good to see. Really interesting results in the AFL last week. MG, Port losing the showdown. Pretty embarrassing stuff. You've got Collingwood over Carlton. They're on a record against the big sides is starting to become a little bit of a problem, the Blues. They're a bit hit and miss. My Hawk has pulled the Western Bulldogs' pants down, so could be the last legs for old Lukey Beveridge this week if they bow down to Richmond with a tough draw ahead. And good to see the Vegas Lions smashing the Suns, so maybe they can salvage a little bit from their season. What do you think once you sobered up and watched a bit of AFL last week, MG?
Yeah, it's a good round, Scooty. Third highest ever attended home and away round. So they clicked over the 400,000 crowd for the 9 games for rugby league fans. It's not 400,000 for the year to date. It's just one round. So, yeah, it was unbelievable finishes. We had, 3 or 4 cracking finishes and, unfortunately goal kicking seems to cost some teams. Port Adelaide kicked the old 5 goals, 18 in their showdown and wonder why they walk off the park with an L next to their name. So, yeah, that was a bit disappointing. But, the AFL still got some problems. They had a bad run with injuries again. I don't know what's going up there in Brisbane, Scooty, with the Gabba up there because they seem to rain every day up there. It must be the hardest surface going around because the Brisbane injuries, they've got another ACL, so I think it's the 4th one they've had already this year. So it's got to be something to do with the ground more than the players up there. So, yeah, it's a bit interesting. And then, tip Toprope up earlier this week with possible the Bulldogs. If they don't beat Richmond this week, Scooty, they've lost 4 in a row and they've got 2 top sides the 2 weeks after. I just don't see how they can go too much longer with him. If they lose to Richmond, especially this week, Scooty, we might be talking of a coach sacking not too distant future.
I would have thought so, yeah. They've just had too good a list over the last couple of years to not really bother the scorers or contend. I think the COVID lockdown year was the only time they made the grand final, and they had them on toast in the first half, and then Melbourne blew them away. But disappointing given the strength and the depth of the list. I'll be interested to see if they can retain all their players. And poor old Bont, he's shouldering a lot of the load at the moment. Let's have a quick look at AFL Premiership prices while I got MG. It's all Sydney at the moment. Swans $5.25, and then GWS $5.75. The Cats steaming into $6.25. The D's back in contention $6.75. Collingwood in the mix as well, $7.50, and Carlton, I guess, are the massive drifter here at $8. Hard to see Brisbane or Port Adelaide in their current form trouble the scorers, and it'd just be money in the top draw, Fremantle and Essendon for Tristan, I would have thought.
Yeah, I finally got to the right team being favourite. It's only taken 8 weeks for the bookies or the market to shape it, so yeah, I think the right team's now at the top. They've got an interesting game against Freo over in Perth this week, but if they get away with that, their draws are nice and soft, and I think they'll be at the top of the betting right through the rest of the season now.
Looking at the Brownlow, it's Isaac Heaney, $3.85 favourite at Top Sport, and then you got Zachy Merritt at the Bombers, $7.25, sort of the Lone Ranger piling up the votes there, and then you got Cripper at $8.25. He's in bed with the umpires on a weekly basis, so no shock there. Caleb Sarong, $9.50, Tom Green, $10, Nicky Dacos, $11, and Marcus Bontempelli, $14. So the Dacos supporters would be starting to circle, I would imagine, and having a look at the Coleman medal prices. You got Charlie Kernight, $2.70, Jesse Hogan, $5, Harry McCarkey, or Mackay, as some people call them, at $5.90. Interesting price. Tristan doesn't want to offer $6, keeping his foot right on that one. And then you've got Jeremy Cameron, $10, Benny King, my man up here, $13. See him out for breakfast a lot. And you've got Bailey Fritsch, $26 with Suvalaki on the same quote. NRL Premiership, we've already touched upon it. Broncos are the big drifters, 360 out to 550. We've spoken about it for the last sort of month. Just keep having more on Penrith. I don't think your opinion's going to change their top rope. The Storm have lost the pap, have we said. Roosters look pretty rock solid, and it could be an all-Sydney final. And anyone that follows the GGOA set has got an absolute poultice of money because you're dominating top rope, but you're sitting in a nice position to trade out of the Sharks if you so please. And the Warriors are out to $31, so I'll have to remortgage the house to, go on with them to average my price up. But I've probably learnt my lesson and stay in my lane. Top rope.
Yeah. The Wires have been all sorts. The Wires are going nowhere. So, the pre-season stuff. We've got Penrith pre-season. We've got the Roosters pre-season. So very happy with that. So we can make a nice little book out of that. Very concerned about the Storm going 40. No Hughes this week, no Pap for an extended period. We saw how average they played in the second half of that Pap last week. And they were pretty average last year, at least by their standards. So we're highly concerned about it. It's such an important player. So we'll just see how they play with this young kid, Silva, at fullback. But Broncos, I'm happy to go as far as saying the Broncos can't win the premiership without Adam Reynolds. So we'll wait for the full diagnosis on when Reynolds gets back. But not enough talent to keep going on and keep kind of pushing into the top 8. But I think against the better teams, they might get found out a bit. They were pretty ordinary last week against the Roosters. There was a lot of panic in that game. And I think that the Broncos played at a frenetic pace. They love to kind of really kind of catch teams off kilter with their speed. Sometimes they can kind of go over the top and hurt them when it hurt them last week. So a bit to work out with the Broncos, but Penrith just keep on keeping on. They were down 12-0 against the South. Those was on the plus 15.5. Thought out and just 27.5-0. Never looked like covering. Never looked like. But we're behind the 8 ball with 20 minutes to go in the first half. So absolute Shabbat. But Penrith, and this is their first time where you think they've played their strongest side. And the Roosters take on the Warriors this week. This is the first time since the 2019 grand final, according to like crazy rugby league facts, that they've had their best available team on the paddock. That's there's 5 full years. So, so JWH is 300, we should see a bit out on this one.
Outstanding stuff. All right. Any contenders for the new segment? Braith of the week, idiot of the week?
No comments from me. Yeah.
Looks like the gag orders kick in even across our channels, which is surprising because we usually just tell it how we see it. MG, you found a way to win last week despite 800,000 beers responsibly over the 10-day bender that you're on. Not sure how you do it. But round 8 was a good one for you. 6 wins, 4 losses. You got your nose in front, bet 25 units, 1.74 unit profit, plus 6.96%. And you just got your nose in front on the season tally there at 6.32 units, running at 4.27%. So looks like you'll be betting again this week and you'll be betting again for the rest of the year. So happy days there. And top rope, I keep blowing smoke somewhere. But it's all valid, and your subscribers are very pleased with your work, and it's just not stop here. It's just a money-making machine here. 5 wins, 2 losses last week, 11 units bet, plus 2.35 units at 21.36%. It's unusual for you to bet so little. Let's hope you're up at this week, and you can see your total there is 191.5 units bet for a 50-unit profit. So you got your half century there, and you're running at 26.39%. And the try scorer, the anytime stuff that you've been throwing out is catching fire as well. So good to see, and hopefully plenty more of that. Thursday night footy kicks off down in Melbourne town with a big litmus test for Carlton against Melbourne at the MCG at 7:30. This is an absolute corker. $1.76 the D's, who are maybe one of the form sides at the moment. $2 Carlton. Real test for them to see what they're made of, really. 2.5 the line here, and 164.5 the total, down from 165.5 here, MG. Are you going to give Carlton another chance, MG, or are you throwing them to the Wolves?
Not giving them any chances, Scooty. Happy to have opposed them from the start. They had a soft draw, got off to a good start. Carlton blowing their own trumpets. They're halfway through their litmus test. They're 0 for 2 so far, and I just think pretty keen on Melbourne to get the job done here, Scooty. I just think Melbourne, you're right. They're up and about, getting the job done. They match up beautifully with Carlton here. Their defence can handle the weapons that Carlton can throw with Mackay and Curnow. I think May, Lever and McDonald will get the job done at the MCG again. Melbourne have been airborne at the MCG this year. They're 4-1, and Carlton have only had 1 out of 3. So the venue's got to go to Melbourne here, even though Carlton are a home ground advantage. Yeah, pretty keen. They put up 185 at the head-to-head price, Melbourne, so pretty keen to take that. It's only moved 2 points since, but I think the market will, if it's going to move, it's only going to move Melbourne's way. I can't see it turn around to Carlton. So if you're going to back Melbourne, I'd back them early, and if you're going to back Carlton, if you're a Carlton supporter, you can back them late. But Scooty, I'm pretty keen on the total here. It's the first time this year we're going to have a 5-unit play on the under. The bookies, I'm just not sure how my models or my ratings are not matching up to the markets here with Melbourne's defence. They keep playing unders. They're 6-2 on the under this year, and they keep posting up high totals. So bookies put up 171.5, already down to 164. There's some 162s and 3s out there. I think this, I wrote in the email that we released earlier in the week, this should be no bigger than 160. I think that's where it'll probably head and settle. So, pretty keen on the under here. I just think at the MCG they'll control the game, and Carlton are in a bit of a spot because they've got a couple of tough games to come. So the lights haven't gone out in Carlton. They're a good side. They'll make the 8, but I think Melbourne are going a bit better. So pretty keen to play Melbourne and the under here.
Chips in Melbourne and chips in under, been a happy hunting ground for you, so I can understand why you've done that. The Thursday night game in the NRL is the Fins. It's my 8th side, the Dolphins, against Manly Sea Eagles. $1.74 Sea Eagles on the road, 2.10 the Dolphins, line 2.5, 47.5 the total here. Interesting, away favourite, Toprope. You like to take these on generally?
Yeah, and I'll be taking all of this week. So stunned in their favourites this one. Stunned. Manly without Bill Lachlan Croker. They've lost Nathan Brown, impact runner. Kamali White still suspended. They've covered just one of their last 8 as a favourite away from Brookvale. The Dolphins, they're fairly entrenched in the top 8. They just keep on beating teams at that. That's probably the market has been so wrong. They have to their entire existence. It's just a great spot for them. They've covered 9 of 14 against top 8 teams. They've covered 8 of 12, conceding 26 plus. They've covered 12 of 19 at night. Dolphins should be favourites here. They're absolutely about chips in Dolphins.
Outstanding. All right, I'm not going to argue with that. And I do see a Tommy Turbo 5-unit play for any time, so that gets my...
He's priced like I made some tweets to the price room wall. A lot of fans that some of these guys who score who average try a week are the most ridiculous prices week in, week out. Like seriously, triple average every week should be $1.60 if they're an outside and $1.40 if they're favourite. How he is the price is stunning. So max bet, I think there'll be plenty of points this one. You can back Turbo, you can probably back Ruben Gay as well. For Manly, there's only tries everywhere, but Fins win, Tommy Turbo, chips in.
Beautiful. What a way to start your Thursday night with a bit of Tommy Turbo anytime. That is me to a T. Let's have a look at the AFL, and it is Friday night, and it's the Dockers versus Sydney Swans here. And the money, no surprise here, is running for Sydney, slightly at head-to-head, $1.70 into 167 at Top Sport. Fremantle Dockers 2.10 out to 2.15, line 5.5, and the total here 154.5. No movement. Swans too strong for the Dockers at home, or can they give a yelp?
No, I think they can definitely give a yelp at home. Nothing wrong with the Dockers' form. They've won their last 2. Sydney have won 4 straight, so this is probably close to match of the round, not for crowds or anything like that. But this is a contest, top 6 clash. Fremantle 6 on the ladder. Sydney are on top at 7 and 1. Yeah, I couldn't find a play in this game, Scoot. I actually think the market's pretty much spot on. I can't really pot Freo at home, and Sydney are about a goal away. There is some decent weather forecast. It is in the morning, the afternoon, so whether it carries on to the night will be a wait and see. But the total's low enough to go either way. But if the rain does clear, the bookies will be slow, and we might have a late overplay as the day goes on, a bit like the Brisbane game, I think it was last week. So, both teams have covered 6 and 2, so there's certainly been the punters' friends this year, both of these sides. If you've been on them, you've got a nice little bank healthy list, so neither team's got an excuse. I think it's a good spot for both teams to see where they're at. And, really couldn't find a play, but I'm going to monitor the weather and there may be a total play later on Friday afternoon just before the match.
Nice one. So Mark's referring to his Telegram service that's attached to the AFL Sting. So he does bet during the round, and especially when totals and weather starts to affect matches. So make sure you get around that one for $25 a week, and you can just see some of his early action is some great shopping. So the Melbourne total 174.5. He started backing, and that's already been a 7 or 8 goal move. Even if you like taking splits and you want to go back the other way later on, there's some of the options you can do. So you don't have to go all one way with MG, but he's the market mover at our place for AFL betting. Let's have a look at Parramatta versus Broncos on Friday night, and Broncos very short favourite here, $1.35, Parramatta $3.20, line 9.5, out from 8.5, and the total 45.5. Toprope.
Parallel car completely cut. Mitchell Moses, Clint Gutherson is now out on the sideline. One who also can gut that. They have lost their best player, and they've lost their heart and soul. They are absolutely cactus. Nothing makes me happier than seeing Eels. So we will be jumping on the minus here. No rentals. Slight concern against the bed, or big concern against the bed team. No concern in this one. This is a great spot for the Broncos. They've covered 13 or 16 tonight, 12 of their last 16 away from the Suncorp, 15 of their last 24 when a big favourite of more than converted try. Eels are absolute cactus. I'm keenly over here too, but I'm holding fire because there's some weather around Sydney at the moment. So rain is forecast. So I'm not going to back this early. I'll be looking back if we kind of get a little clearer on through. But the overlooks a very compelling bet in this one. But obviously weather's an issue. We have seen some rainy games sail over the total this year. So it's not going to completely. We just need to look at kind of what kind of rain here. If it's just a passing shower, we'll be squeezing up. But if it's a soaking, drenching rain, will be some strikes. So taking the minus early, and we're going to look to that over with any indication of semi-decent limit.
And the sickos, i.e. me, Ezra Mam, 285 anytime. Lovely.
Well, 28 tries in 45 games, 285.
Just giving away money, the bookies. How generous.
They've got plenty of it, so we'll something for the top rope subscribers. There's nothing wrong with that.
Can't disagree. Richmond versus Western Bulldogs, the coach killer. This could be a massive clash Saturday night, 7:30 at MCG. $1.35 Bulldogs, $3.05 Tigers, 18.5, and the total 167.5. Hard to think how they recover with no Liberatore Western Bulldogs, and obviously I'm a little bit biased Hawthorn supporter, but when Hawthorn look hungrier than you in the contest, it's hard to think that you can turn it around in a week. They were hapless, the Bulldogs, and oh gosh, I couldn't back them with stolen money at $1.35 MG.
Yeah, agree, Scoot. It's hard to commit on the Richmond side as well. They've been smashed the last 3 weeks, lost by 39, 43 and 54. So it is hard to come into them. But yeah, the bookies put up, there was plus 20.5. I think they've even might have been a 21 somewhere. I missed that. But plus 20.5, Richmond had to have a tick on that side. I think it should be more around no more than 12 points for the Bulldogs in this game. As you said, Liberatore is a huge loss. I like the Richmond ins too. They're going to have probably Bolter, Prestia and Graham back. So I think that provides good balance, good target for Bolter going up forward. Yeah, I think it's a bet to nothing here, Richmond. As I said, they're not a great side. They've lost 4 in a row, 1-7, but the Bulldogs are 3-5. Coach under enormous pressure. So Richmond can come out with some intent, as you said, like the Hawks last week. I think plus 3 goals, I think it is at the moment, 18. I think it will continue to trickle down. And Richmond are a play to nothing on this game. I think the total's about right. But yeah, Bulldogs could be in all sorts if they lose this one to the Tigers.
They just got to stay with him for 3 quarters, and you just got to be cupping or holding on to your nutsack for that final quarter. And that it's just those tricky ones with those bad sides. Sometimes those lines can look really, really skinny. So fingers crossed we can stay in the match early. And the bonus will be if we get a coach sacking out of it, nothing like a little bit of blood in the water and a little bit of blood in the shaft too if we hit that total. So good to see that you've chipped up 2-unit play on Tiggers at the plus. So Marky means business, and he's jumping on board the Tigers, which is good. Storm versus Sharks is a cracker. It's probably match of the round, or I'm going to call it match of the round. $1.88 Storm. Cronulla $1.92. This is down at Melbourne, 41.5. Top rope.
Yeah, match taking a bit of a hit with but Pappenhausen and Hughes not playing for the Storm, but seeing the line move from the Storm total of 4.5 to nearly pick them down. I suspect that the Sharks may start favourites in this game. Don't mind the Storm here. I think they're I'm happy to have a throw of the dice on the Storm. They've won 6 of the last 7 against the Sharks. They've won the last 5 and 8, by 16 plus. They've covered 10 of their last 14 at Amy off conceding 20 plus. I love the look of this young fullback, Silfalongo. Assuming he plays, I think he's a very exciting prospect. So possibly the fastest man in the NRL. So you saw his try last week. It was one for the ages. And the Sharks, the big knock on them is their inability to do it against good sides. They've covered just 4 of the last 12 against top 4 teams. I guess the concern here is that this iteration of the Storm probably isn't a top 4 side. So Lee Dawes, Melbourne, not a big betting out for him. It should be a cracking game to watch. Betting up small Melbourne, and I cannot believe the luck that the Sharks keep getting. The luck of their draw, and then even when they get good teams, they couple when they're injured. So,
right.
I think we'll be collecting our overbet on the Sharks very, very early.
Top rope, just a couple of trade talk rumours. David Fafita, is he going to go to the Roosters, and is Jerome Hughes going to come up to the Goldie and live the good life with me?
So on David Fafita, he has to make a decision today. He is definitely leaving the Titans, and I think we'll probably end up at Penrith. Roosters not dead, but I think he'll end up at Penrith. And Jerome Hughes was an absolute moral to go to the Titans, but Matt Tripp has his fingers in a few different pies out of the Melbourne store. I think he's been able to figure something out for Jerome Hughes. So expect some kind of long-term deal that will possibly last with Jerome Hughes. May or may not be the chief executive officer or a senior executive of Better very soon. Despite his qualifications. So I think Jerome Hughes will be staying in Melbourne.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know what that's a bit of a downer, that one. Just what they need, Penrith, another good player, and more misery for the Titans. So glad I asked with that one, and good to see him. Hopefully he's a betting man, Jerome Hughes, and hopefully lets us on for a little bit more than the NBLs at the moment. So that'd be good news to see him behind the trading desk there at Better, if he's allowed to wear 2 hats. Sunday looks like a cracker. 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon in the AFL, Adelaide versus Brisbane. 2 sides just sort of oscillating poorly, like a $20 Bunnings or Big W fan. $1.63 the Crows. Brisbane Lions $2.20, 6.5, 167.5. Will we bother watching this one, MG?
All depends, Scooty. It is Mother's Day, so all depends how the lunches line up for certain people, where they can get away at 4 o'clock to watch it or not. But it's the good games at least this week are early in the fixture, Scoot. So we might have to miss 1 or 2 for Mother's Day and make it up on the Monday. But yeah, for this game, interesting because they're both in winning form, even though both records are 3 and 5. So both have got off to a very slow start. I'm still hesitant to buy into Adelaide. I don't have them as highly rated a team as some other people that you either speak to or with their models. They've won 2 in a row, but they've beaten Kangaroos and Port. You can't put them in the showdown, but Port Adelaide, when they kicked 5 goals, 18 didn't help their cause. And if they'd kicked a bit straighter, especially early in the match, then they would have won. The game's not going to be a great highlight for mine. Adelaide's been proven undergame in the totals. So both teams are 6 and 2 in the unders, Scoot. So they're both allergic to putting goals through the sticks, which Top Rope would love. So we're a bit surprised they come up with 169.5 at this total. I think it's on the high side. Happy to play the under. The totals that these two teams have been averaging in Adelaide's average 153 per game, and Brisbane are even lower at 147. So I had it around the 160. It's gone from 169 down to 167. I'm not sure it's going to get down anywhere near the 160 mark, but yeah, I think it's a play to nothing to finish the week. So we might chip up again later and see how the early results go and things like that. But I think I can't come into Adelaide either at the -6. I know they're at home. Brisbane have copped some injuries, which is just going to keep me out of having to play on the side. But yeah, if I was going to have a playing the game, I'd rather take the Adelaide plus and the Brisbane plus rather than the Adelaide minus in this game. But the injuries to Brisbane are starting to pile up there, Scoot.
All right, well, I'm going to take the under 167.5. I'm going to put my Nick Tedeschi hat on and just boo goals. So every time there's a goal, I'll just give a big boo while I'm out for Mother's Day.
Yeah, we do a lot of booing following AFL.
Oh, it'll be Mother's Day lunch for me. I'll be in the vice, no doubt. Last game that we're going to preview here is the Titans and the Cowboys. I don't know what they call this clash, but it is a derby of sorts up here in Queensland. Cowboys 167 away favourites, 220. I'm sure Tristan will be in the Top Sport box with his mum. Shout out to the Merlahans. They'll be enjoying Mother's Day out at Robina there. It's a cracking stadium too. Got to get around that. The line 2.5. Total 49.5. Hopefully there can be a Titans win for the Merlahans, who are one of the major sponsors or their betting partner of the Gold Coast Titans.
How generous are the Merlahans? They're the sponsor of everything.
Yeah.
God bless them. They're the most generous family in punting. So good luck to them. And I think we'll have some good Titans from Mother's Day. I do like the Titans against the Cowboys in this one. Cowboys are just the perennial disappointment of the NRL. Like they've lost 4 in a row. They're up and about. Blah blah.
Who'd you say?
Blah.
The Titans?
The Cowboys.
Oh.
So the Cowboys are the perennial disappointment of the NRL.
They could both fight for the title. This could be what it is.
Well, no, there's no expectations of the Titans. Like everyone thinks the Cowboys are this good team. Just 3 of their last 11 are the favourite off the loss. Titans have covered their last 4 games. The last 5 games have covered their last 2 as a home underdog. I won 3 of the last 4 against the Cowboys at Robina. I cannot have the Cowboys as a road favourite. I think I'll be backing. I can't say I'm hugely confident on the Titans, but I'll be having a dip at the 220, 225, whatever that moment to get the job done. I think there's a little bit of value there. So probably close to pickle for this game. So take the Titans and give all the Merlahan ladies something to cheer on Sunday afternoon.
Hopefully, I think the Merlahan girls when they lead the players out, I think they've got a good little record there. So I'll have to ring Tristan and figure out what's going on there. But I see AJ Brinson, a little anytime try scorer bet to add a little spice to this one, 235.
He is completely airborne since he's moved into fullback. I can't believe they played him at the centre. So he is absolutely flying. He's probably forced his way on the Queensland side at the moment, playing that well. Since he's moved back, they have covered every game. So he's scored an inch from it. So he's got 4 tries in the last 2 weeks. While Brimson, in an open game, that's probably going to see more than 50 points scored. You're going to see plenty of tries, and Brimson he's smack bang in the middle of the action. So great bet. But one of my favourite try score bets this week.
Chips in Titans, chips in AJ Brimson, and try and wheeze them away. I'll convince the missus to go out to Robina to watch the Titans smash the Cowboys. Might be a bit of an angle there with Tristan. Might be able to get some tickets. Everyone tied up with Mother's Day. Could be a nice little couple of beers in the stands there on Sunday. It sounds like a plan. Toprope and boo goals in the AFL when I'm checking the AFL scores on the sideline. But in all seriousness, a big happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Make sure you spoil your wife or your mother, and I'm sure you 2 boys will be doing the same. Do we have a clarification on Braith of the Week, Toprope? Who was the idiot of the week?
Oh, again, I haven't. There's a question that knows that's certain. Haven't quite got that far into the notes yet, so we'll take that one on notice. Get back to you on that one. Could be
Luke Beveridge if they lower their colours to the Tigers on Saturday. GGOA is absolutely flying, $33 a week. I'm not sure why everyone isn't buying this package. He's absolutely airborne, 50 units. You've already paid for itself 18,000 times. You should be involved. 26% is absolutely airborne, and MG Stings are about to have a breakout weekend as well. He's taking all the great prices, so it's just a matter of time when the results start to hit the line for him. But shopping early and knocking the price around. So make sure you get on his Telegram service as well, because he loves betting during the round, especially when the weather hits. And there's plenty of weather around all over Australia at the moment. All right, I think that's a wrap. It's good to have MG back from his little toolies extravaganza, and I can't wait to get the gig next year. I guess we'll be filming the show live from Adelaide, Toprope.
Yes, let's do it. Let's absolutely do it.
Live from the Bulls, Scoot. It was all business anyway, Scoot. We went down to, you buried the lead as well. Our horse, Alakahan, won race 1 down at the Bull, just what we needed to kick off a 3-day carnival. Drinking free beer in the owner's room at about 10:45 in the morning. But, geez, I tell you what, just what I needed after not sleeping for about a week. But we had a good crew down there, Scooty. Couldn't get Jason Richardson to interview us all. He just wanted to interview MG on the broadcast after the win, but I said we need to bring in all 18 of us, and he didn't want to have a bar of it. He said he couldn't guarantee there wasn't any swearing involved, so he let us go. But next year, Scoot, we'll get down there because we're going for the 3-peat.
I did hear DK Weir almost traded blows with a journo or an on-air presenter out of Victoria. So plenty of fire in the belly down at the Bull, and it must have been all happening. But good you avoided it all, MG, and you've come back in one piece. So we'll see you next week. And hopefully everyone has a great weekend betting on the AFL and NRL. And we've got a golf show next week. So fingers crossed Scheffler's out with the baby injury. He's already pulled out this week. Hopefully Toprope's got a couple of angles for us because they're dropping like flies. Ardberg's done his knee and there's just carnage everywhere. And Rory's playing is about as good as a 10 handicapper. So make sure you tune in to the Golf podcast next week. We'll see you next week.